Okay, welcome. I said I would never do something like this, but what the heck, I'm going to. Saw this article published on CNBC. It was written by Annie Nova, and it's titled, "These Americans Fled the Country to Escape Their Giant Student Debt." I'm just going to read some of this and put my own little remarks in here. Chad Haag considered living in a cave to escape his student debt. He had a friend doing it, but after some plotting, he settled on what he considered a less risky plan. This year, he relocated to a jungle in India. "I put America behind me," Haag, 29, said. He now lives in a concrete house in the village of, I think it's Ukachata for $50 a month. His backyard is filled with coconut trees and chickens. "I saw 4 elephants just yesterday," he said, adding that he hopes to never set foot in a Walmart again. What does that have to do with his student debt? I don't know, but whatever. His debt is currently on its way to default, but more than 9,000 miles away from Colorado. Haag said his student loans don't feel real anymore. "It's kind of like if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it. Does it really exist?" he said. Well, where did he learn to think like that? The philosophy major, there it is, concedes that his student loan balance of around $20,000 isn't as large as the burden shouldered by many other borrowers, but he said his difficulty finding a college-level job in the U.S. has made that debt oppressive nonetheless. So what kind of college-level job did you think you could get with a philosophy major? Chad? Are you kidding me? Okay, whatever. If you're not making a living wage, Haag said, $20,000 in debt is devastating. So are you making a living wage in India, I wonder? Well, whatever. He struggled to come up with the $300 a month he owed. The first work he found after he graduated from the University of Northern Colorado in 2011, when the recession's effects were still palpable, was on again, off again hours at a factory, unloading trucks and constructing toy rockets on an assembly line. He then went back to school to pursue a master's degree in comparative literature at the University of Colorado in Boulder. So you have a degree, a useless, worthless degree, and you're in debt and you can't find a real job, or a college level job, I should say, excuse me. So you go back to school to get in further debt? Okay, whatever. I mean, whatever floats your boat. Let's see, after that he tried to make it as an adjunct professor, but still he could barely scrape a living together with the one class a semester he was assigned. Well, there's that old saying, those who can do, those who can't teach. Well, Chad, how does it feel? You couldn't even flunk out and be a teacher, but whatever. Haag said had some hope restored when he landed full-time work as a medical courier in Denver, delivering urine and blood samples to hospitals. However, he was disappointed to find that he brought home just $1,700 a month. He had little money left over after he paid his student loan bill. He couldn't afford an apartment in the city, where rents have been rising sharply. He lived with his mother and rarely went out with friends. Oh, boo-hoo! So he couldn't get like a job at night working at Domino's Pizza, or, he couldn't get more hours of work, I guess. I don't know. And I wonder if he even paid rent living with his mom. Whatever. He says, quote, "I couldn't make the math work in America," Haag said. Close quote. Milestones that seem like pipe dreams back home, like starting a family and owning a house, are now on his horizon. This year, he married an Indian citizen, a professor at a local college. He now has a 5-year spousal visa and plans to renew it when the time comes. So this clown freaking jumped ship, I guess you could say that literally, jumped ship, goes to India, gets married to a woman who has a job. She's a professor at a local college, and I guess he's content to let her provide for him? Anyway, whatever. No, judgment-free zone, not. Adjusting to a new country, he admitted, has not been entirely easy. Oh, boo-hoo! Some toilets here are holes in the ground you squat over. Well, how condescending is that? They're just American alternative. Haig said. Recently, he ate spoiled goat meat at a local restaurant and landed in the emergency room. Still, he said, I have a higher standard of living in a third world country than I would in America because of my student loans. Yeah, because you have somebody else paying for it. Because you married a professor. Defeated by their student debts, some borrowers are packing their bags and fleeing from the U.S. to other countries where the cost of living is often lower and debt collectors wield less power over them. Although there is no national data on how many people have left the United States. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Outstanding debt has tripled. Moving to another country to escape student debts is risky. Yeah, because, you think if the cost of living there is a lot cheaper, the wages they pay are probably a lot cheaper too. So freaking congratulations, Einstein. That's like saying, hey, you know what? I need this blanket to be longer. I'm going to cut a foot off the bottom and sew it on the top, and then I'll be taken care of. What a freaking... This guy is a freaking moron. And that's the problem with colleges. They crank out educated people. They don't crank out smart people. We need more smart people. Obviously, this dude didn't do his cost-benefit analysis. Otherwise, he would have realized, there's probably no jobs for people that have philosophy degrees. And that's the thing, in public school, you've been brainwashed to think, if I go to college, I'll make more money. And that's true, but there's a caveat. You can't just get a degree in anything, and that's what they're pushing. So here this clown freaking went to school, and you know what? He probably did really well in his philosophy classes, He's able to pontificate and ask questions like, what is good? Or, what is truth? Not... hemlock is poison. Anyway, that's a classical reference to a Steve Martin skit. But the point being, there's P.T. Barnum said there's a sucker born every minute, and this is one of them. And there was nothing done illegally as far as like people lending money, and that's the other issue. You need to look at economics when it comes to schooling. A school, you need to assume, is a business. And, like any business, it follows a model. And, where there's lots of money available and there's a high demand for people to go to school, because that's pretty much what they do in high school, is brainwash you that you need to go to college. There's a high demand. It's all about supply and demand. Where there's high demand, the cost is going to be high. Where there's tons of money available, just like the, housing bubble of the 1990s and 2000s, where there's lots of money available that's cheap, houses are going to be expensive. There's lots of money available through grants and student loans and the GI Bill for college, so college is going to be expensive. So if you're going to college and you're getting into debt, you need to ask yourself, am I going to be able to get a job with this degree? Because really, for the most part, if you go to the same school, a degree, any degree at school is going to cost the same. If you get a drama degree or theater arts or philosophy or, a music degree or whatever, that's going to cost you just as much as maybe a nursing degree or maybe an engineering degree. So you need to look at what you're getting into debt for and what kind of job you're going to land afterward. You just don't go to college and say, well, I want to have the college experience. I want to, take a philosophy. I want to major in philosophy because I like learning about how to think about stuff. Well, newsflash, you can freaking learn to think about stuff and not even have to go to college. You can do that for free. I should hope people realize you can do that for free, but maybe not. Maybe this guy doesn't know. So this goes on to talk about other people that do stuff and there's no future and, let's see. There's another guy that, he delivered greasy pizzas. Don't knock the pizza delivery. Freaking, it's a job. It pays you money. And, it helps you learn some stuff like freaking how to be on time. No matter what job you have, whether it's in the restaurant business or whatever, being on time, customer service, understanding what the business plan is and the business model, that's like freaking important stuff that they don't teach in college. Oh, well, I'm going to go and get a master's of business administration and I'm going to learn how to do this and I'm going to get a job as a Fortune 500 guy. Well, great. If you're one in the 50,000 that can do that and make some serious six figures or whatever, that's awesome. But the majority of people who work in the business world work in small business. And you don't need to have the degree for that. You just have to understand, hey, you know what? What do I have? What does it cost? What's the demand for it? And you go from there. But anyway, that was my point. I couldn't believe this. This article has undertones like, oh, these people are victims because they can't get jobs. But honestly, these people are just not educated. Well, they are educated. They're just not smart. They didn't do their due diligence. They didn't see what the cost benefit analysis was. And it sounds like they're kind of lazy. Like the dude lives with his parents. He was making $1,700 a month at a job. Well, if that's not enough money, you freaking get another job. Or you freaking look for a better paying job, you know, but I guess that was just too hard for him. And he wanted to hang out with his buddies and stuff. And oh, poor guy, you know, oh, he has $20,000 in debt, you know, and that's the other issue. You know what? Sometimes you have to sacrifice. Sometimes the world isn't nice to you, and sometimes it sucks. So I guess the problem is, and honestly, here's the thing. The dude's mooching off of a woman who's paying his living expenses. And if the guy wants to call himself a man, you know what? If that's okay, I guess I wouldn't consider him a man. Number one, because he ran away from his debt. Number two, he's letting somebody else pay for him, which, you know, honestly, I'm one of those freaking archaic just clowns. I kind of think the man's the one that needs to go out and freaking, you know, knock skulls and kick butt and take names and bring money home and provide for his family, where the woman should be the one that's loving and nurturing, who, you know, has like a sense of caring and concern and compassion. But I'm a dying breed, obviously, because we were cranking out people like this Chad guy. Number two, like, he freaking stole $20,000. He said in writing that he would pay this money back, and he has failed to do so. He's failed to live up to his commitment, which honestly, just because, you know, it's not illegal doesn't mean that it's right, you know. And that's, you know what, I think America's probably better off with him in India, because we don't need people who run away from hardships, you know, and default on loans, basically legally take money from somebody who, you know, and with no intentions, basically legalized thievery, and is willing to let his wife pay for everything for him in a third world country. So congratulations, Chad. You know, you're a real man in your own book, but I don't think that book counts for much. So anyway, if you have like hate content you want to post, be my guest. Do it underneath. If you want a response, let me know. And signing off until next time.